Okay, so what we're gonna talk about in this session. I believe this is quite an important topic, which is like why unit testing is not just covering everything, it's not covering enough, and what we can do to achieve more testing coverage. Agenda is quite simple. We're gonna have an overview of unit testing and its limitations. We're gonna try to find ways how we can achieve more testing coverage. There is gonna be a demo and of course some conclusions. So first of all, what's unit testing, right? So like it says, it's practice of the smallest individual parts of software application. So you can have like functions, classes, whatever you want. You can have like the smallest chunk. You have a code and you write a code which checks the code in a way, in the simplest manner, right? So what are the benefits? Like everything in software development, the earlier you're gonna find a bug, it's gonna be cheaper and faster to fix. So of course, testing from our perspective, it starts at the documentation level, but then it goes to development. So if we're gonna find a bug in a code, we're gonna fix it. It's gonna be all good and dandy, and like the end user is not gonna see anything. Then it improves the code. In a way, one of my developers, my colleague, said, you cannot write a proper unit test on top of spaghetti code. So when you're writing a unit test, the code itself has to be, well, tidy, it has to be quite clear and everything in that. And then you have some confidence in changes. So for example, if you're gonna implement some new functionality, you know that if the prior functionality had unit tests, well, it should be stable, right? It gives you that kind of confidence. Supports refactoring, so again, improves the refactoring of the code, leaving the documentation. So when you have like, for example, a function and the function has a unit test, in a way it's clearer what the function is supposed to do, right? And reduces costs, I already mentioned. But some disadvantages, sorry. So of course, everything that we do takes time and effort. So not everybody wants to write some more code, which is going to be like unit tests. Then, as mentioned before, like it can give you confidence that your code is working fine. But then again, if the unit test is written not well, but you have confidence that if the code has unit test, it's supposed to work fine. But it's not always the case. Of course, maintenance, well, we have more maintenance to do. And when it comes to API, UI, and interaction between like systems, so those are not covered by unit tests. Is this confusing enough? The title, is it good? So we have two perspectives, right? So there is the developer. Like I mentioned before, you have code and code on top of that code. White box, in a way. QA's perspective, like I do not care how the code is written, how long is it, how many classes, I just care what's it gonna do. So for example, if I have an eShop, I have a login page, I know that it has an input of like, I don't know, username, email, and password, and that's it. And it has to work, I have to log in. So that's the QA's perspective, and that's the difference between unit testing from developer and QA. So again, the unit testing on the left side, on top, this is QA's perspective. I just want to emphasize like how much functional testing we have besides unit testing, right? So we have unit testing, which is like one functionality, again, login. Smoke testing is just the basic functionality. For example, again, like eShop, I have to log in, I have to put an item in a cart, I have to buy it, right? So then we have integration, for example, API testing comes to mind. So that's like I get plane tickets, and then I'm gonna have like some ads from, I don't know, like booking.com, which is gonna be like, you know, integration between those two systems. Interface is, I think, self-explanatory. That's web UI, like UI itself, sorry. System testing is the whole system. So this is going to be at the end. We're testing the whole system. Regression. So we're checking if the prior code is not broken by introducing new functionality. This is actually the main focus of test automation, because you don't want to do like regression testing all the time. You're introducing something new, and you have to do like everything from the start, right? Sanity testing, that's if you have like a fix of a bug or something like that, any changes, so you test the if the change is actually implemented and it's not breaking anything besides that. Beta acceptance testing, so that's like end user experience. You have like beta usually done at end users like computer or system, something like that. And alpha is actually being done at your environment, at developer's environment, that is. So that's functional testing. So functional testing, in a nutshell, asks what the system is doing, has to do, so what it is. Non-functional testing is asking the question how the system is doing that, so like performance. Is it performant? Usually what is being done, you have like several users or like 10, 20, 50, and you're doing performance tests, seeing like how the system is going to behave on more load. Security testing, well, I believe self-explanatory. Then we have load testing, which is pretty much the same as performance. You have just gradually increase the load. Compliance, this is related to legal stuff. Stress testing, I want to be clear, this is not monitoring your stress levels when you're like trying to push something into production. Stress testing and load testing differentiate in that way that load testing is gradual. And when you have stress testing, you use like 550,000 users. So you check how the system behaves when you have like those kind of spikes, right? Then compatibility. So if you have like web UI, you are checking if your different browsers are behaving the same. Is it compatible with different browsers, different systems? We have like macOS, Linux, Windows, stuff like that. Localization, so if you have like a system which is localized, so translated into different languages, we check if the translation is correct. And install is if you have like a desktop application, can it be installed and can it be updated, uninstalled, stuff like that. And then we have like levels. So actually it goes top to bottom. So we have like unit test, which is just a single unit. Again, QA's perspective, login. Integration, usually that's API calls. Like I said, the example of like booking tickets, stuff like that. The system is the whole system you're trying to test from start to finish. And acceptance is ensuring that the final system meets business and user needs. So that's usually, well, not usually, but sometimes even stakeholders wants to test like if the system is being developed per their needs. So summary of unit testing. It improves code quality, can be considered to be a living documentation. If you're going to catch a bug right there at the unit testing level, it's going to be cheap to fix. And those tests are reliable and fast. This is, I think, the main part when it comes to this, the whole test suite. But some limitations. The biggest one, in my opinion, is coverage is very limited. I'm going to show you that in the demo. They are not suitable for UI testing at all. When we're talking about web UI testing, they just don't do that. And they don't address any non-functional aspects that I've mentioned, which is like, again, localization, security stuff, load, cross-compatibility, and so on. So what to do? What to do to achieve more test coverage? Because I put mostly because it's impossible to cover everything. We're trying to cover as much as possible and like in a timely fashion, I guess. If we're going to do the performance testing, we can use such tools as JMeter, BlazeMeter. To be honest, I never used anything besides those. JMeter is my preferred way to do that. So you can have like API calls. You can have just simple HTML calls. It's really easy to use. It's open source. Well, it's not cheap. It's free. So, And BlazeMeter can be used as an extension in Chrome browser. So you can record a session and just have BlazeMeter try to mimic that. Security testing, usually there is like penetration testing or security testing expert. It's not a job of QA per se. But if you want to, you can have like a photo of those tools. Haven't used them, but I trust that they work. API testing. So again, if you want to have like integration stuff tested properly, you have to use APIs. The most popular tools, I believe, are SoapUI, Postman, and well, we're gonna have those API calls written in Swagger as well. Test automation. When I'm saying test automation, I'm talking about WebUI based usually. They can have APIs as well, but what's the benefit? They're quite fast. They're not as fast as unit tests, but really fast. They are reliable, reusable, which means they're a really good way to do regression testing. And of course, it saves time because you can have them in CI/CD pipelines, so you can have them overnight. And of course, you reduce human-generated errors such as like misspelling or misclicking or something like that. So we were talking about different testing, right? So in CI/CD pipeline, you would have like on the left side top a new code implemented, right? So you push the new code. Hopefully, it's going to be a new branch from the developer, right? You have a new build, and then you can see that unit tests are in two places. It's just like a preference, because still, if you're running unit tests, it's fine as long as you do that. Usually, developers tend to put unit tests before the rest of test suite. But yeah, after unit tests, you should have like integration tests, especially regression tests running. I don't know, like about performance testing, I usually do it like separately because it can take it can load the system quite a lot, so the rest of the tests can slow down. And you have end-to-end tests at the end as well. So end-to-end test means that you have user experience from start to finish, just one flow. Automation tools. These are not all of them. These are the most popular ones at the moment. So Selenium, I think, is still the most popular because it's being used for 10, 15 years, something like that. Then some people prefer to use Cypress, but I find it to be quite limiting. And then we have Playwright, which is, I think, funded by Microsoft, but I'm not sure. Aldous, you were talking about Playwright? It's maintained, sorry, yeah, it's maintained by Microsoft. But it's a free tool, and it's quite performant and really easy to use. So yeah, Playwright. It supports different browsers. So one of those goals that I mentioned was to check cross-browser compatibility, which it does. It works on Windows, Linux, Mac OS, you name it. You can implement it in CI/CD pipeline. And you can use those most popular, I guess, programming languages like JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, etc. So I'm gonna be showing you a demo of a Playwright. First of all, I'm just gonna briefly talk about the setup. So it's a sample to-do list application, which is WebUI based, but it has backend and frontend. It's written in React. Then unit tests were written using Jest framework. So it's a combination of ChatGPT and my senior colleague who helped to do that. Then we have MongoDB being used as a database, so I can show you that as well. There is going to be just a single API call just to show you that it's working. So it's going to be in Postman. And the rest of the demo is in Playwright. Okay, and so there's going to be several examples. I'm going to show you application working as intended. So unit tests are going to be run, then web UI tests. Then I'm going to break it a bit. Yeah, so like I mentioned, there is single call from API side Postman, but I'm going to show you that it's possible to write a hybrid API web UI test, if you will, in Playwright. So it's going to start with API call. It's going to be just a registration, and then you proceed to test the rest of it using web UI. And I think there is kind of notion still till this day that like if you want to set up everything, it's going to take hours, days, or something like that. Nope, not the case anymore. Those JavaScript-based frameworks are quite easy and fast to set up. Okay, good. Everything's supposed to. Okay. So we have, like I said, backend side, and we have front end, right? In VS Code, I can show you that's the backend. I'm not going to show you the whole backend, but these three classes are unit tests, like I mentioned, written in Jest. So what kind of tests do we have? We're going to test forgot password controller, which has several of them. So if user is not found, it's 404. Then should return error if token is invalid. Should update password and clear token on success. Then we have task controller. So task is, like I said, I'm going to show the application a bit later. To-do list application. So the task controller is responsible for those to-do tasks that you put in the list. So we should be able to delete the task. Error if delete is failing. We should return user tasks, so the list of it. And have DB query, then user controller, so that's the login part. It's a bit longer. So yeah, if you're trying to log in, but you're not inputting all the fields, should return 400. If user does not exist, if password is invalid, 500 if like server is not working. And then we have registration part. 400 is if user already exists, if email is invalid, and stuff like that, okay? Then we're gonna have Playwright tests responsible for front end. But first, let's fire everything up. So from backend side, because everything is actually, disclaimer, in order to write everything and run everything, you need Node.js. That's pretty much it. So in this instance, I like this name, no daemon server. Let's go. And it's OK, I believe. Just gonna show you one more thing as well. So that's MongoDB. This is my profile. Just gonna show you that we actually store those users and everything's working as intended. Front-end side, okay. npm start. Okay, I'm feeling lucky today. So far, so good. So let's start with backend tests, right? So this is the command that I have to use to run unit tests. Let's clear this up. Let's run the command. And that's it. Everything passed. So we had 19 tests that I showed, and it took 1.5 seconds. So that's fast. That's unit testing. It's supposed to be like that. That's good. OK, let's switch it up to our Playwright test. So I have two classes of the same test. The reason why I have this is you can see I put a lot of pauses. so I can actually show you what's going on, because if I'm not gonna put any pauses, it's gonna go through the whole browser in like 2 seconds and we're not gonna see anything. And annotation at the beginning only means that just this test is gonna run. So let's try to do that. npm test. Okay. On the right side, there is a little console which opens up as you have like this pause function, right? So we can proceed. It's gonna register a new user. Okay, we're inside the application. Maybe I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. Okay, then we're gonna add the task. We submit it. We are checking that the task itself has the expected text that is like task 1, and it has description. After that, we're gonna go to filter active. It's inside there. Again, we're checking the text. It's not incompleted, which is expected, all good. We're gonna go back to all tasks and we're gonna check it. If it's checked, it means that it's completed. It's not inactive. So far, so good. Filter complete. We're gonna go to complete. We're gonna check that it's here. All good. Now it's we actually deleted it and it passed. So we have one test that has passed. So I'm gonna change this to skip. So we're running every single test except that one. So again, npm test. And it's running in parallel. Like I said, you're not, that's it. 7 tests just ran, right? Okay, let's check. So this is the same test. It's end-to-end. So you're registering, putting one new task. Then in login class, we have validating register page. So we're actually checking the registered page. Just a second, we can show it like that. It's going to be easier to. Hello? That's unexpected. Let's try new incognito maybe. Yeah, okay. So yeah, in the register page, we have all those elements. So that's like input fields. We have register button and all that stuff. So that's being checked if they're visible. If the text is as expected, then we have user already exists. So we have a hard-coded user that we're trying to use again, and it should throw us user already exists, which is doing that. Then we have, we're registering, so we have the beginning of the email address, then we have some random stuff. So we can have like new user, right, every single time. And then we have forgot password page, which is right here. And then we have the API call that I will show you now. So yeah, let's have a new name. I don't know. Let's have it John. Email random is good. Very secure password 2133. Hopefully nobody's gonna hack this one. So we send it 200. Okay, we have this user registered. We can show it, I believe, here as well. If we're gonna refresh it. A few seconds. Yep, John random is good. So everything is working as intended. I'm gonna try to do the same again. So it should give us, yep, user is already user already exists. So the hybrid test is we have this. So we have this API call. So right here. And after that, after the API call, like I said, we go to localhost, which is our URL for the moment. and we're proceeding with the test, right? Okay, so all those tests are working as intended, both UI and in Playwright. But I have this backup, which I named bad because I'm really bad at naming things. So we have the front-end components, right, which I'm going to change right now. First of all, let's stop the server from backend and front-end side. So let's go to front-end. And we have these components, right? Copy the bad ones, replace them, and let's try to fire everything up again. So there's going to be like 3 errors, like not errors, bugs introduced with these bad ones. So what do you think, what's going to happen if I'm going to fire up unit tests in this moment? So I know that there's going to be 3 bugs. But unit tests, are they going to catch them?
No.
Why? Okay. Good talk. Thank you. Okay, let's try that. Nope. Yeah, user controller. That's good. Let's random. All good. The system is working fine. I guess it's fine. I don't know. We're not going to spend much time here. Let's try Playwright. Nothing's changed. Going to fire those up. Okay. There's going to be an awkward silence for 20 seconds because Playwright's default implementation of trying to find things or clicking things is 30 seconds. I'm not changing anything when it comes to default behavior, so just a few more seconds, I guess. Okay, that's done. And this is amazing. We have like Playwright test report. And this is, again, default behavior. I'm not implementing anything. I'm not changing anything. This is default. OK, let's check what's happening. So we have this click, which is not working as intended. OK, we'll check that. Login, logout, complete tasks. And OK. So we know that we're trying to remove something, and clicking is not working. So that's one. Cool. Then what's that? Remember me spelled as remember me. OK, so this is a minor issue, but again, it found it. And forgot password is not working as well for some reason. I don't know why. What's going on? OK, let's try to go to forgot password. Let's try to forgot. So forgot password link is no longer working. And unit tests said it's fine because we had like forgot password unit tests running just fine. Playwright catch that. Then we could go to register, remember me, like I said. Cool. And then something to do with to-do list removal. OK, let's try a new one. It's going to be like Drake at, I don't know, Gmail, let's say. Password is going to be secure. Home 123, nobody knows that one. Title, test, description, test, add. OK, active, complete, all tasks. That's it. It's done. Something's wrong. But yeah, unit test did nothing regarding that, right? So yeah, we can actually see that web UI tests are doing their thing. OK, let's try to then again close this up, close this one. Let's go to front end. I actually have good backup as well. So components, we go here, we go here. So I reverted everything back, so everything should be working as intended. Again, we'll see that. OK. npm start. Cool. So far, so good. Okay. Again, we can do the same. Just a few seconds. I'm gonna stop the session again. That's it. All good. Yep. Okay. So one more thing that I want to change. Disconnect backups and bad environment. So this little small file, it just describes the connection to my database. This is just 3 lines of code. Still, let's go to backend, and I'm gonna replace that one. I think it's not gonna allow me to replace because we're running it. Okay, now it's gonna let me. Sorry. Should be good. And now if I'm gonna try to run the server, it's not running it. So we have no connection to database. The front end is fixed, everything is working fine, but something happened with database, which is like, well, can't say it happens a lot, but it does. In the meanwhile, we're still gonna try to open up the page. It says that we're all good. We can actually navigate because front end is working fine. But if I'm gonna something, and then try to register, it's not registering because it does not have like any response from database, right? So again, it's broken. If I'm gonna run autotest, it's gonna pretty much, I think all of them gonna fail because of that. Again, let's go to unit test. Everything's fine. Why is that? The thing is, when you're writing on the unit test, again, you're testing the code in the backend, which means you're pretty much, you can see right here. Let's go mocking. You're mocking pretty much everything, right? You cannot do like proper user flow with these ones. So that is the kicker, I guess. So yeah, let's go back to the presentation. Oh, sorry, missed one. One step, cool. Yep, so let's go just by one step. Let's make new directory. I don't know, we need a good name, original name, Boston. It's gonna be fine. And we need to set up a new framework, like you're starting fresh. You just need, actually, at this point, if you have nothing, you need Node.js, that's it. So if we have Node.js, npm init Playwright. I actually want JavaScript, thank you. Yep. We'll see how good the Wi-Fi is, because in order to set this up, it takes like from 10 seconds to 2 minutes, I guess, depending on Wi-Fi, but I think it's quite good here. Or not. Okay, while this is happening, so what's the plan for today after the session? Oh, actually, sorry. I think it's done. It's not done. Yeah, it is. So, what, 20 seconds, right? Okay, let's open this up. We have demo, and we have Boston. Oh, I did a mistake. Yeah. I didn't go to the directory. My mistake. I'll do it again. Again, just. And it's actually downloading all the browsers that we're gonna need for cross-browser compatibility test as well. Hopefully now it's good. This is good. Okay. I just want to change one thing. If I'm not gonna put this line of code, all the tests are gonna run headless, which means you're not gonna see anything which is happening. So in scripts, just this one. And test examples, I'm gonna delete this one. We have one more test as well. And we can do it like that. Wait, page, pause. Cool, I think it's good. Let's try. Come on. Okay, bash. npm. Test. So this is as simple as it gets. It goes to playwright.dev, which is like a documentation for all things like related to Playwright. But what's happening now? So we just have single test, which is running several times, right? Again, we're gonna play everything. All of those three passed. If we're gonna go to configuration file, projects, Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit, which is Safari. So in my tests, I just commented 2 of them because we were saving time, I guess. But the thing is, by default, Playwright has all those different browsers, and you can run every single test in all of these browsers at the same time. Again, no setup needed. That's it. So in 5 minutes, I initialized the whole framework, and everything's running. If we're gonna compare it to my tests, if I didn't mess them up by initializing a new project, we can try PV tests. I think it's gonna be good. So, like the syntax is quite simple, really. You have to put, when you have a test or a function, you have to put async and then awaits, because it has to do a step, then it waits for that step to finish in order to do the next one. If you're not gonna put await, it's just gonna go through everything and it's gonna mess everything up. But, so we have like page.locator. This is CSS locator. .first, so the first time you click is visible. Then you put these elements, you expect the name, the text of the element, and that's it. You're pretty much writing the syntax. So I think it's quite easy to learn, and it does not consume that much time. Okay. So the conclusions. Unit tests, again, fast, reliable, but limited in scope, as we saw. Test automation frameworks can provide quite a big coverage, and it's really easy to set up. So I mentioned Cypress. It's the same because it's JavaScript based, so the setup is quite easy and fast. Again, today's emphasis was on functional testing, but non-functional aspects are important as well. And if you want to have a broader coverage of the whole system, you have to use different approaches. So you have to use unit testing, you have to do API, web UI, everything that you can do to have the whole coverage. Any questions?